Backgrounds are more important than ever in the new player's handbook. Now they give you ability score improvement, a new feat, tool proficiencies and skills. So they become a very important part of your character. But not all of them are made equal. So let's rank them and see the best and worst backgrounds in D&D. Acolyte is a personal disappointment. Having a character that is devoted to a deity, it's very cool. But now, sadly, with the ability scores, you cannot play a martial that is devoted to any god. At least not with this background. Now I can make my halfling rogue that is devoted to Beshaba, the goddess of bad luck. Totally original character, do not steal!
Not stealing.
Hell, not even spellcasters want this background, because you need dexterity and constitution to survive. Maybe a wizard with high wisdom, but there's still better options in that case. The feat, it's okay I guess. You can pick good cantrips like guidance and good spells, in this case, like bless or healing word. But it's redundant to a cleric. And clerics are going to be the main characters that maybe will want to pick this, used for their own story. So, what the hell are we playing with this one? This is a D. This is a D. There is nothing good in here. It's probably the worst of them all. Artisan start with very unique stats that will only be useful for Eldritch Knights, Arcane Tricksters, Artificers in general, and maybe Blade Singers. Investigation is amazing for them, but Persuasion doesn't really synergize with the classes that will probably take this background, so it's kinda mid. They can get some fun tools, like alchemy supplies or smith tools, but in general, even the items that they can make with a quick long rest are situational, cheap. The discount that the feats give you is okay, and making items is something that could be cool, but it's nothing meaningful or that will help you a lot. It's a waste of a feat, a waste of ability scores, and one of two skills that doesn't make sense for the character. So with all that in mind, this is also a D tier. Not as bad as the Acolyte, but very, very close. Charlatan is a serviceable feat for charisma casters, for dexterity rogues or fighters, and for dexterity paladins. Even if it goes against your oath right now, it may be something that you did in the past. The ability scores and the skills are okay. The toolkit that it gives you, the forgery kit, you're not going to use it a lot. Like, don't get me wrong, it seems that it could be something fun for political campaigns, but you're not going to have a lot of those in D&D. Now we go with the feat. Skill, it's mediocre. Don't get me wrong, extra skills are fine, but they are never going to be the difference between dying or surviving. Yes, a few extra skills are handy, but when you got a vampire lord all over your body, destroying you and sucking you dry, you're not going to resist due to them.
Dracula.
It's truly only good if you're playing a rogue, because you get reliable talent level 7, so those proficiencies not only are amazing, but also get even better. It's almost impossible to fail them. So it's great for rogues, it's good for everything else, and it's still this, and it's solid if you want to go for this one. I will say that this is a B tier. Criminal gives you so much that it's perfect for rogues, for dexterity fighters, for rangers, and usually enough for wizards. You also get one of the best skills in the game. Trust me, you always want stealth with every character. Well, not maybe with heavy armor, but instead of that you want it for sure. Thieves' tools are also an amazing set of tools that are always going to be full of utility for doing any sort of shenanigans. And with Alert, you will be able to add your proficiency bonus to your initiative rolls, and to change your initiative with any other party member.
It's a Decepticon ambush!
Now you always want to be first in combat, because if you and your allies are able to use the first turns, you can be able to disable threats in the battlefield. But changing your initiative with someone else is even more useful, because maybe you don't have the right tool for that battle, but maybe your allies have it, and you can change with them. It's literally one of the best origin feats in one of the best backgrounds, S tier, and probably the best of them all. Entertainer is the best background for bards, sorcerers, warlocks, and paladins. The ability scores are just mwah! And while it's true that the skills and tool proficiencies are not the best, you still get Musician, another of the best feats. With Musician, number of creatures equal to proficiency bonus can get Heroic Inspiration. And Heroic Inspiration is very strong, a free reroll for any sort of saving throw, ability, or hell, even a damage die. it's great to have that 3 reroll. Hell, at level 5 or level 9 you will be able to basically inspire your whole party, getting 3 or 4 rerolls and making everyone stronger and better at what they do. If you are like my group and have short rest between encounters, then your whole group will be always ready for whatever comes next. Disclaimer that this background is only good for one party member, because you can only have one heroic inspiration to entertainers won't do much. That's why it's at the top of A, doesn't go further beyond 2S tier. But still, it's the best A tier background in the whole game. Farmer got amazing ability scores that makes him great for strength fighters, barbarians, clerics and druids. Characters that could very well be your frontline, and that's why the feat works so well. Thus will give the character a lot more hit points, making him withstand more in combat. And a few hit points can be the difference between your character dying and he surviving, so that is something very good. Hell, Barbarian Dwarf with this feat can be unkillable at the end of the campaign, truly. The skills sadly are not that useful, as nature tends to go with intelligence and animal handling is, well, not that useful of a skill, but nonetheless still a solid background that is carried by a nice combination of ability scores and feat. It goes to the A tier. With Guard, the ability scores are so wacky. You can maybe build an Eldritch Knight or a Wizard with a lot of wisdom, but outside of that it's not that useful of abilities. Together they don't match well. You can either lean on more in strength or wisdom, because the skills are great for fighters, druids or clerics too. We already know how awesome of a feat Alert is. It's also true that the gaming sets are useless, you are never going to use them and they are never going to be important. So the only remaining quality truly is the feat. It's still a B because the feat is that strong, but yeah, it's a very wacky background in general. Okay, I must admit, I am in love with Guide. Guide got great ability scores for rogues, for rangers, clerics, even for monks and fighters. And with the feat, we get some of the best cantrips and spells in the game, like Guidance, Thorn Whip, Healing Word, Fairy Fire, Good Berry, and Chilele. And Chilele, it's so cool for clerics, because you can play a cleric, get Chilele so easy with this background, and be able to attack with your wisdom modifier, using the cantrip and some sort of quarter staff. The match will scale, and you know that melee clerics are always the coolest. Stealth and survival are also great for the type of character we're making.
Tracks?
The only thing that brings down Guide from an S tier to an A tier is that the cartographer's tools don't tend to be that useful, and that sadly the feat is just situationally exceptional. Sometimes you really won't want it, or it won't be as helpful. Hermit has great ability scores, even if I don't know why an Hermit is getting a bonus in charisma, but it's great still. And just for that it's cool for druids, clerics, warlocks, bards and sorcerers. But there's even more. The feat, the healer feat. It looks good, but if we examine it a little bit more closely, we see that it's truly more of a fraud. Let me explain. Healer's kit, it's not going to be as useful. It's only really useful if you don't want to use your spell slots in that moment. So for that it's handy, but it's not even that powerful compared to the power level of these feats. And even with that, you will probably play a magical caster with this background. A druid, a cleric, a bard. You'll have all sorts of ways, even with a celestial warlock, all sorts of ways to heal your party. It's, you know, not that useful for that type of character. Outside of that, the healing rerolls are just situationally good. Probably it's never going to be the difference between living and dying, as the die that you tend to recover with healing, it's not that much even. Rerolling 1d4 for healing word, what that's going to do? Not much. That feat paired with the skills that are not that useful, like for example medicine. This is a magical word. You get lesser restoration at second level spell slots. Why would you want medicine? It's not necessary. Both of those things together put this one down below in C tier. Not horrible by any means thanks to ability scores, but still there is a lot better background to take. Merchant. I love this one personally. The idea of playing against traveling merchant is always a fun one. And it's great for artificers, wizards, warlocks, bards and sorcerers. And outside of all of the classes that it's amazing for, you also get another of the greatest feats, Lucky. It's true that Lucky has been nerfed in some way. Now you get a number of lucky points equal to your proficiency bonus, and you can use them to give you advantage on a d20 roll or give an enemy that is attacking you disadvantage. Even in the current state, anything that changes attack rolls and improve your possibility of winning, it's always better. So it's maybe below alert, but still one of the strongest feats. For the skills, we get animal handling, that it's, again, very situational. Any druid with speak with animals will be able to handle those situations a lot better. But Persuade is always so much fun, and it works well with the majority of the characters that you are going to make with this background. Oh, one more thing about Lucky, it's that you are able to use it for rogues to get one more way of getting sneak attack. So that's always great, it's one more little thing. And you know who else is lucky? Me! If you subscribe to the channel to show your support. Now let's get back to the merchant. The merchant is a great background that sadly it's going to A tier due to animal handling and due to cartography's tools. Again, two things that are not that useful, and bring this to also the top of A tier. Noble is another interesting choice for Eldritch Knights or Paladins, although the feat skill is mediocre as we said, and the dice set is as useful as a cardboard fridge. Only really good if you want a paladin with all of the charisma skills and then some, but for nothing else really, so I will put this in C tier. Curiously, Sage is another background that is horrible for the class you're supposed that it will be great for, in this case Wizard. It's interesting for druids, clerics and artificers, and even more, because with the feat you can make them go into melee and maybe have cantrips like Booming Blade or Green Flame Blade that have a ton of fun in melee combat. It's also a cool way to give your cleric a familiar if you want to. Nonetheless, between a decent feat, great skills, and good ability scores for a few classes, makes this Sage be a B tier, very far superior than the counterpart that is the Acolyte. It's a shame what has happened to the Sailor background. The ability scores are good for rogues, rangers, and monks, but I would not recommend this for anyone due to the feat. Tavern Brawler gives you proficiency with Improvise 2, and it gives you more damage to unarmed strikes, 1d4 plus your strength modifier, which could be good, but you got your weapons! You tend to have your weapons. That's always a lot better. The only class that will benefit from this are the monks. Oh wait, the monk starts with 1d6 plus their dexterity, making this feat useless for them. Useless. Okay, they can reroll and maybe get more damage with normal strikes, but low level it doesn't even matter, and at high levels they will have so much going on that this is not even going to be that good. So don't get me wrong, it can be fun, even nice for roleplay, but if not for that and for the backstory, I don't know who will pick this background. That sadly sinks below the C of D tier. If you want to go for the typical wizard background, trust me, and go with Scribe. It's good for wizards, but also arcane tricksters and rogues in general, monks, druids and clerics. And hell, calligrapher tools are one of the elite tools that are going to be useful for spell scrolls. So this background has great synergy with the wizard. The only better thing that we'll ask for is the feat, but even skill still got his uses. So it's a solid background that goes into B tier. Soldier is a great background for fighters, barbarians, rogues, rangers, and anything that will want to be up close and personal with weapons. We got the gaming set again, which tell me that someone has probably gambling problems without the ghost.
Come on, Daddy, you got no pair of shoes.
But skills are fine for a few characters. Barbarians will use them a lot, for example, but they are a little bit more niche for dexterity characters that won't use athletics or intimidation a lot. So the thing that makes or breaks this background is the feat Savage Attacker. Savage Attacker lets you once per turn reroll twice the damage die of your weapon and select the higher one. Difference here won't be much for smaller weapons like daggers or short swords, but for bigger weapons like great axes or great swords, it's good. Not groundbreaking, but it's a little bit more extra damage that you will want for heavy weapon users. This background doesn't break them all, but it's still a good one for martial characters, so it goes to B tier. Wayfarer, it's another great background for any sort of charisma or wisdom caster. Hell, even for rogues, monks or rangers. The list of classes that could benefit from this background, it's truly gigantic. We got rangers, monks, fighters, rogues, paladins, sorcerers, bards, warlocks, druids and clerics. Hell, it's one of the best backgrounds for 10 of the 12 classes in this player's handbook. That's how good it is. I'll also give you Thief's tools, that are the best tools in the game, insight and stealth that you always want to have.
Insightful.
And the Lucky Feat, the second best origin feat just below Alert. It's an amazing all-arounded background for everyone. I think that for that, it goes to S tier. It seems that Wizard of the Coast said, hey, let's just make one that will be perfect for anyone, and drop it in. Now, I'm still debating about Wayfarer and Criminal and seeing which one of the two is the best. It's almost like choosing between mom and dad.
Mom, Dad, don't ask me to choose!
You can't go wrong with either one. I think that Wayfarer is more impressive for the number of characters that will be glad to have it compared to Criminal that got way less list of classes. But Criminal also got a slightly better feat. Nonetheless, I think that Wayfarer takes the cake in this one, being the best background in the whole game. And this is the final ranking. As you can see outside of a few outliers, all of the backgrounds give you something good. All of the backgrounds are strong in one way or another, and you can't go wrong with any of them. So, this is everything for today's video. Thank you so much for your support, and I'll see you on the next adventure.